All right, so we saw in January, rates dropped just a smidge, and there was huge buyer demand.
Yes.
Applications surged. Buyers came out like crazy, even though rates still sucked.
Yes.
But they had the appearance that, like, hey, things got cheap again, which told us that there's huge pent-up demand. There's buyers sitting on the sidelines, right?
They're there, stacked up.
Stacked up.
They're waiting for permission.
So let's give them permission to get pre-approved. I want to talk about why it's important that they get pre-approved. They don't dilly-dally. They do it now versus like after rates drop or after they want to buy their house or whatever. Like, why is it important to be ready to pounce?
The reason is when you're in a market, you don't know when you're at the bottom of the market, or you don't know when you're at the top. So when rates come down, when you in hindsight look back and go, oh, that was the bottom, that's when I should have bought, you don't know when that is. So what I think people need to do is they need to address, do they need a house, yes or no? And then they need to be pre-approved, yes, so they know that they qualify for what price point, etc., what payment they want at today's interest rates. And then they're constantly looking and monitoring the market for when that house comes available. Because right now, let's face it, sellers need to sell their houses that are listed, and they're not selling as fast as they used to, right? So it's pretty easy they're sitting. So it's pretty easy to get into contract when your house comes available. Don't wait, because in the springtime, we're going to have lines of people waiting to get houses again anyway.
I think a lot of people, they hesitate to get pre-qualified because they're like, oh, I don't want my credit to be run, or oh, I don't want to find out that I don't actually qualify to buy a house, or whatever the case is. Let's talk about the process of getting pre-approved. Like, what do we do? A hard credit pull off?
No, the process is so easy. I've never been able to figure out why people are so afraid to talk to a lender. It's the basic first step. Most real estate agents would even tell us that, right? Go get pre-approved first. But anyway, we're pretty nice people, Aaron. And you don't even have to talk to us right away. You can do everything online, right? We've made it really easy. But why are people afraid? Or I'm not sure, but credit reporting is definitely one of the key things that they like to use as like a barrier. But
yeah, it's like their excuse.
Yeah, it's their excuse to not do it. I don't want my credit touched, or it's going to hurt my credit. And what we would say to that is we do soft pulls up front. And the soft pulls now, they don't ding your credit. It's not listed as an inquiry. It doesn't hurt your credit score, but yet it tells us accurate credit scores, the debts that you have, the payments you have. We have not had any trouble with those at all. So we do a soft pull up front. And then the hard pull, which is the one that is reflected as an inquiry, that comes later when you're actually in contract and ready to go into underwriting.
Yeah.
And that's really helped. I think a lot of our clients have appreciated that.
Yeah, I do. Well, and not only does it not ding their credit, but a lot of people, they're concerned with like, well, I heard that if I have my credit checked, I'm going to get 900 phone solicitations and all this annoying stuff.
And they will.
So, yes, they will.
Yes.
But if they do the soft credit pull, it doesn't work that way. Right. It also gives them time to opt out.
Yes, opt out. So the opt out process has been also very helpful for our clients, where you go to this one website that the credit bureaus had to put up, and you can easily opt out of getting offers, firm offers of credit or insurance. Takes about 5 days, right? You fill in your name. You don't even have to put your date of birth and social in there, but if you put them in there, it makes them easier to match it up to you. And you can opt out for 5 years, you can opt out forever, or you can opt back in at any time. So,
I'm totally opting in for those back solicitations.
Well, you want all those credit card offers in the mail, right? You know? So, no, opting out has saved people. And no joke, we have received screenshots from our clients where we pull their credit, and within minutes, they're getting bombarded with phone calls, voicemails, texts, and emails
from a lot of like shady companies too, like portraying that they're with us or that they're part of our application or whatever. It's like, I always, I'm a firm believer that the best way to build trust is to deceive people. And so it's like all that crap comes out, and it just blows my mind that that's their business model.
And that's how they're desperate.
So like, do I have to come into your office to get pre-approved, or like, what's the process? Like, can I just go to a website, or let's talk about that?
Yeah, no, it's like I said, you don't have to talk to anybody yet up front. You can go on our website.
No, that's not true. Let me correct you, because we've actually closed loans where I've never talked to the person. Maybe we text a couple of times.
That is true.
We use so much technology that we make it easy. Now,
we're
real people. Like, if you want to talk to us and all that, or come in or whatever, Zoom, that's an option. But if you're also like Howard Hughes and you're hiding somewhere and you don't want to talk to us,
or you're a millennial, right?
Yeah, or you're basically under 40.
You get anxiety when you talk to people. Yeah, forget about it.
Yeah, so you could do it all on text. You could do it on our website. In fact, right here in the back corner, that you see this is our website right here, newwaymortgage.com, and that apply now button, the big red button up there, that's one easy way to just get your online application started.
Absolutely.
You don't have to call anybody, you don't have to do anything, and once you complete your online app, we can get started on getting you pre-approved. We'll reach out to you. We'll text you. If you want to talk, we're here. If you want to do a Zoom, we're here. But we're going to, make it as little, the least amount of friction as possible.
Yeah. What we do need to know, whether it's by text or email or phone. Phone is easiest, but if that's not okay with you, we could probably email all this. But anyway, we need to know what you want your mortgage payment to be. We can look at the numbers and tell you what you qualify for, but oftentimes people want a lower payment in their budget than what they qualify for. So we do need to know an approximate monthly payment that you're looking to fit into your budget, because those are two different numbers. And then with that information, we can tell you this is the house that you want to buy. This is the price point. And we'll tell you, but you qualify for this also. So we'll give you the range. And
I always like to ask people, like, what's the maximum amount of money you want to pay on a monthly basis when we include property tax, homeowner's insurance, mortgage insurance, HOA dues, whatever. And then how much money do you want to come out of pocket with? Like, when you complete the transaction, what's the max?
What's the total we have?
Yeah, and with that amount, we're able to, do the gee whiz math and reverse engineer the numbers to be able to be like, all right, Mr. Customer, you do not want to exceed this purchase price. Otherwise, you're going to exceed your monthly budget that you told me you didn't want to, go beyond X.
Or the cash you have in the bank. And that also allows us to fine tune, like, this much goes to down payment, this much covers your closing costs, right? Because we have closing costs as part of your loan. And it also helps us tailor an amount we might want to ask the seller for in seller credits.
Yeah. Yeah. So, whether you're doing a 2-1 buy down, which we did a video on that, you can hit that right there. Or maybe, you're not doing a buy down and you just want the seller to pay for all of your stuff. I mean, why not? That's the kind of market that we're in right now. Anyways,
Absolutely.
You got to take advantage of that.
We're helping somebody right now where she's got about $15,000. And to get the house that she really wants, she definitely needs a seller credit to help offset some of her closing costs. She's doing just 5% down, just the minimum.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 3% down. So the seller credit of $7,000 is making this possible.
Yeah. I think some people also, they feel like the pre-approval process is like, it might be like an arduous process.
Daunting.
It's not an Ironman race. It's pretty simple.
If you get a pay stub every week, right? And you have a W-2, the paperwork is minimal, right?
Yeah.
What do we need? Last 2 pay stubs, your W-2s for a couple of years.
Some bank statements or
yeah,
something.
It's super easy. And if you have an ugly credit history, I think that's a fear too, that people are like, oh, there's that one late payment I have, or that bankruptcy, or it's okay. We have seen it all. Nothing really freaks us out anymore.
You know what?
We don't judge anybody.
You bring up a good point, because I think everybody, like, whether they've got great credit or the horrible credit, they're like embarrassed
closet,
or they don't want they don't want people to see what's going on in
that
there.
one time.
Yeah, and so they like hold it back, and it's like, no, dude. We've seen it all. Like,
all of it.
Everything that you can think of. The nastiest credit.
All of it. And mortgage people went through the meltdown in 2008 like everybody else did. So even mortgage people have, like, not me and not you, of course, but like even mortgage people have, we definitely have seen it all. Bankruptcies, foreclosures on multiple houses. Some people. So there's not much that you can do that freaks us out.
I would say that you're better off just like letting it all out for us so that we can figure out either like, do you qualify today, or do we need to like do some mortgage planning, some credit repair, whatever the case is, so that you'll qualify 3 months from now, a year from now, whatever, versus this unknown of like, well, I think my situation sucks, so I'm just not going to tell anybody about it and, you know, hope for the best. And speaking of credit score, by the way, you know, a lot of people, they're like on Credit Karma, or their bank account has like a free credit monitoring thing.
Consumer.
It's never
their
correct.
Faux score.
Yeah, their fake score.
Their faux FICO.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's like if you applied for a credit card, that's probably what your score would be. But there's different like scoring rubrics, if you will, for different types of debt. When you say, like, a mortgage is serious. They're lending you hundreds of thousands of dollars. They go deeper into the credit, and they're a little bit stricter with their scoring model, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's not, you don't just get a briefcase full of cash and rock and roll.
It's not a credit card that has a $300 limit. That's a totally different scoring like pattern, if you will. So no, the mortgage one. And so typically their credit score is 10 to 20 points lower when we pull their credit.
Sometimes
maybe more.
Lower. You never know.
Yeah. So it's important to find out your credit score now. We don't charge you up front for your credit report. We do, though, want your application. And your application is just a 2-year history of you. Name, where you've lived the last 2 years, where you've worked the last 2 years. And it's the same for all. It's a government document, right? It's the same for all of us.
Standardized.
Yep. So there's nothing secretive. If you do check the box that gives us permission to pull your credit, that's probably the most serious question. Then we do a soft pull. It's nothing heavy on you.
Yeah.
They want to know, like, your citizenship status. Do you have delinquent federal debt, you know, taxes, student loans, etc.? Isn't that the most daunting of all the questions?
There's nothing crazy. I mean, literally, like, if you're serious about it, it takes 10, 15 minutes to fill out the application. And if you're quasi-organized, it takes you maybe another 10, 15 minutes to collect your pay stubs, W-2s, whatever, upload it into the portal. Everything's secure. And the nice thing about the portal is it's not getting lost in your email or, you know, in the snail mail or whatever. Or getting stolen.
You complete your loan application at the end. It gives you basically a cue or prompt to, like, upload your documents, right? W-2s, pay stubs, bank statements.
And then once you're pre-approved, we set an appointment with you. Maybe, you know, if you actually want to talk to us,
you don't
or whatever.
have to.
Again, we can do this all through smoke signals or whatever. But once you're pre-approved, we're going to give you a pre-approval letter. We're going to give you an estimate so that you have an idea of, like, hey, this is what we think your payment's going to be. This is what we think your closing costs going to be.
It's pretty dialed in. We're pretty good at estimates, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. We've been doing this for 20 years. But, you know, it's not exact because that is dependent upon the deal that you negotiate and what company, you know, they end up using.
Et cetera, exactly. There's a lot of variables, but we're pretty good about giving you a tight estimate.
Totally.
I believe we're pretty close.
And then from there, it's like, hey, here's your golden ticket. Now it's, you know, really like kind of balls in your court almost. And then you and your real estate agent need to find a house, or if you're, you know, shopping without an agent or whatever, you need to find a house. Then when you're ready to get into contract, that's like really when we pull back into action. Re-engage, update numbers for you. And then once you go into escrow, then it's game time.
So right now, what's really important, what you just brought up, is number one, you need a real estate agent. Do you have one? If not, we know a lot of them. We can recommend some, but if you do know one, it's a great time to get involved with them. And then number two, talking about numbers. I feel like in this market for the past year, it's really important to stay engaged almost on a weekly basis because rates change a lot right now. So we want to update your rates before you go shopping on that weekend or go see that house. We want to make sure you're in the right payment range with today's rates. Yeah. And rates change how many times a day? Multiple times a day sometimes. So
yeah, it's almost like nauseating how often they change.
I don't even look at those emails anymore.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, it's too much. So
otherwise you'd start drinking at like noon or something.
You know. So it's super key though that we're talking and in communication before you go shopping each and every day.
Yep. So if you're ready to buy a house or you don't know if you're ready and you want to figure out if you're ready, start by going to the link in this video, newwaymortgage.com/apply now. We'll get you all the information that you need. And like I said, you don't have to talk to us if you don't want to. We'd love to talk to you, but you don't have to. We can do it all remote, all online, all via text, whatever you need. We'll get you the data that you need to be an educated home buyer, and then we'll help get you across the finish line.
It's awesome. And we've talked to 2 people just in the last 2 days, or I know I have, where they're renting right now. They were waiting because they weren't sure where the market was going to go, right?
Yep.
And their landlords basically gave them notice, like in July, we want to move back into our home, and so we're going to move you on out.
Yeah.
So they at least have a runway to get to until July, but it's important. You never know what's going to happen. Let's get this done.
I can't tell you how many times we've pre-approved somebody and they're like, oh, I intend on buying a house next year. And then they get pre-approved.
Oh,
and then they're in contract like in a week or something.
Because once you know you can buy, especially if you're married, once the wife knows that you can buy, it's like that's all over too. But you just start looking, right? You start searching. You're online. You're doing all the searches, and you find that house that really makes your dreams like, psh, and then there you are. You're a homeowner in 30 days. How long does it take to buy a house, Aaron, from start to finish?
Like 15, 20 something days, 30 days max.
Yes. Max on 30 days.
Yeah, if you're going beyond there, you're making things complicated or there's like some wacky scenario.
Yeah, no, it takes no time at all.
Well, if you guys like this format, if you like the content, make sure to like this video. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.